Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you once again for spending a little bit of your evening here with me with Wellness Tips with Tanya. So, before I jump right into our session today, I want to kind of recap a little bit last week. We are still moving forward on stress. And last week we dove into the number one way of reducing stress, and that is centered around reevaluating your schedule and really linking those activities that you're doing during the day with your major priorities and your goals in life. And as some of the actions that came out of that, they were either to pick one item from your schedule to remove and try it out for just a week. Or the other action was to see how you could be more efficient with your time. So I want to hear from you. How did that go last week? What were you able to take out of your schedule? And how did that open up some time for you? And how did that help with the stress of trying to juggle everything in your life? So please do comment and share. This is a community here, and like I said, collaboration really helps us all to elevate to the next level. So we're in this together. So I'd love to hear kind of a follow-up with you. So this week, so today, I'd like to focus on healing meditation. So it's following the same process into the reducing stress, but how are some other ways maybe that we can do that? So once we kind of removed some things from our schedule, like we did last week, this week we're going to start adding something in. So it's really small, and in most cases, these healing meditations take about 2 minutes. And really, who doesn't have 2 minutes? So let me start by really describing what healing meditation is. And in its most simple form, healing meditation is simply a way to quiet the mind so that your body, your heart, and your spirit can take over. And I'll say that one more time because it's super important. It's just quieting your mind so that your body, heart, and spirit can take over and can lead you where you need to go. And it really is simple when we put it in these terms. And I think over time, and especially in the fitness and health industry, people are complicating this way more than it needs to. You don't have to go to an hour yoga class or, do these fancy stretching moves in order to get the same benefit. So what is so important about quieting the mind? So this is a really good question. And to answer that, I'm actually going to ask you a question. Is that, when you're sick, does your body slow down dramatically? Probably, yes. Or how about when you're stressed out or really worried about something? Do you notice that your heart rate increases slightly? Probably. So this is why it's so important to quiet the mind, because the reality is your body knows what's going on. Your body, your heart, and your spirit, they know. And it's really just a matter of us being able to listen to it. And in order for us to listen to it, I feel it's super important to allow the mind to calm and quiet down a little bit so that we can listen to that. And, I'll share a quick story. So I had a client work with me, and she came to me initially because, she needed to change her diet. And so, okay, absolutely, I can help with that. But when we started digging a little bit deeper as to why she needed to change her diet, it was actually coming from stress. And so what was happening in her body was that she was under a lot of stress and her body was pumping cortisol. And now this is great. This is a normal reaction. We want that to happen when we're under stress that could potentially be life-threatening, right? So that cortisol shoots out and it allows us to flood blood flow to flood to our brain and our hands and our feet so we can run away and escape danger. But a lot of time now we don't have that kind of danger anymore. So our body doesn't know the difference. So what was happening in this client was that she was under so much stress through her career and just lifestyle in general that her body was pumping cortisol and pumping a lot of it. And so what happened is she started getting what's called as cortisol resistance. Basically her body started ignoring all the cortisol. Like, okay, I hear you, I'm just going to ignore you now because there's just too much. And that caused a lot of other issues in her body. And a lot of these are signs. Our body is sending off alarms. And if we're not being curious and open with our body, then oftentimes we don't really pick up on what's going on. And so that's kind of how she came to me. We broke it all down. We found the root cause. And then we worked at the root cause instead of putting Band-Aids over everything else that was happening because of it. So we worked one-on-one through 3 months, and overall her stress level came way down. We did end up changing her diet, but that was something personally she wanted to work with. So it truly is amazing what your body can tell you once you finally can listen to it and allow the mind to quiet. So that is one of the really important reasons for quieting the mind. And we can quiet the mind through these healing meditations. And not only does your body benefit, but your heart and your spirit benefits. So let me go through some quick benefits. So the body, let's start with the body. Your body benefits by improving the quality of sleep. So as your stress levels reduce, you end up sleeping better. It also promotes healthy habits, whether that's eating, whether that's movement, whatever it is, you're more apt to doing those things. It also improves weight loss. It reduces the effect of chronic illnesses. So it doesn't reduce the fact that we have a chronic illness, but it allows our body to work with it and to help our overall feeling, to feel better, even though we're coping with a chronic disease. It supports pain management, and it also relieves headaches. So a lot of times if we're under a lot of stress, we will get headaches. So kind of those are the body alarms. If you get a headache, just be curious about that. And then into the heart benefits. So the heart, when you kind of allow your heart to feel and be open, and when we quiet our mind, we start to have more communication and more truthful communication. And I notice this a lot when I'm at work or with a client, that I feel I really want to say something, but my mind second guesses me. Like, why am I thinking that? Why would I ask that? It's not related to what we're talking about. But when you allow your heart to guide you, it really opens up that communication to a whole nother level. And I really love that. And then in that process, we are also improving our relationships. So the truer that we are to ourselves and the more that we can listen to our heart, the more we speak the truth. And as you speak your truth, you attract those same kind of people. You attract the people that really believe that truth. And those relationships can grow to amazing levels. It's really beautiful. And then the other one is, of course, patience. So a lot of times patience doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the heart. And, you know, for me, I'm a mom, so I see this all the time with my son, you know, and I love him so much that I'll often let him, you know, he gets away with some things, and that's on me. I own that. But it's just because it comes from the heart. So I have a lot more patience when I deal with him. So then in the spirit can also benefit. So if you basically take the heart, the benefits from the heart, and you just kind of explode that into space, well, what does that do? Then you can look at the world completely differently. You know, it changes your emotions, and you're able to look at things in more, maybe more of a positive way, but maybe more in a truth kind of way. And it also helps to increase creativity. So a lot of times, and I find this often, is that if I'm not feeling good or I'm under a lot of stress, I don't find myself to be very creative at all. I can't come up with a new meal that night. I'm really just looking for what can I pull out of the freezer and warm up really quickly. I don't have that capacity to be creative. So those are some of the benefits, and I know there's so much more, but in sake of time, those are the big ones. So let's get into the healing meditations. So now that we're all excited about these benefits, well, how can I get all of this benefit? So, and I said it early in the show, some of these only take 2 minutes. This is the best part. And so these first 4 I'll share with you are the ones that take about 2 minutes. So the first one, super easy, is sitting still. And quiet, actually. Sitting still and quiet. And this is 2 minutes. So when you're sitting still, you don't have to be, you can be reading text, like spiritual text if you want. You can be in prayer. You can listen to music, preferably music without words, so you're not really thinking about those words. There's some what's called as binaural beats. You can listen to that as well. That kind of opens up different energy flows in your body depending on what you need in that given time. I can link that below, binaural beats. And really, as you're sitting still, you do want to focus on breathing or just being there. You will have thoughts that come in, but just allow those thoughts to go out. So don't be sitting there thinking about, okay, this is what I have to do today, or oh crap, this is what I'm not doing because I'm sitting here for 2 minutes. But you get my point. So just kind of be relaxed and calm. The next one is a breathing meditation that I call 5-5-7 breath. So this is, again, really easy, just 2 minutes of breathing. And we breathe normally all the time, don't we? But this one is more of a focused approach where you breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold for 5 seconds, and you exhale for 5 seconds. You exhale for 7 seconds. Hence the name 5-5-7. Essentially, if you do this 10 times, that is the equivalent roughly of 2 minutes. And you can do this anywhere. You can do this in the car as you're commuting to work. You can do this maybe when you get home, if after a long, stressful day. I always encourage my clients to do this before they eat. It's very important. We'll get into this in further future episodes, but when you are in a calm state prior to eating a meal, your body can actually improve the digestion by, I think it's like 45%. But so that's amazing. If you do this before you eat, you will notice a big difference. So the third one is what's called sun gazing. So don't just go out and stare at the sun. This is not what that's about. But your eyes essentially are closed, but you face your body and your eyes towards the sun. So if you are, you do have to be outside as well for this. It's, you get the benefit of both the vitamin D and the energy from the sun. So we are energetic beings. And it's super important for us. Of course, you've heard you need to get so much sunlight a day. But sun gazing is amazing. And you only need to do this for 2 minutes. And you might feel like, you know, you're silly just standing there with your eyes closed looking at the sun. But it really does offer some great benefits. And the fourth one, so this is the last one under in the 2-minute category. This one is practicing gratitude. So I always encourage my clients to have a journal and to keep that journal by their bed at night. And at night, all they need to do is write down 3 things that they're grateful for that day. 3 things that they're grateful for that happened that day. And there's no way that you can go to bed with stress after you just listed 3 things that you're grateful for. And it's amazing. People end up sleeping better. They really, it solidifies that they actually did have a good day. Sometimes they go to bed feeling like they had a horrible day, and then they list out these 3 things that they're grateful for, and it completely changes their mind. So I know Steve talks a lot about mindset, so this kind of wraps up into that mindset idea too. And so the next 4 are more in the 5 to 10 minute category, but they're still super easy and super fun. So the first one is cuddling. I don't know anyone who's mad or stressed out after they've been cuddling. And honestly, it can be anything. It can be your super soft blanket. It can be your spouse. It can be your child. It could be your cat or your dog. Whatever it is, cuddle up with it and do just combo that with a sitting still to where you're just enjoying each other's time and you're feeling good. So I know I always want to cuddle for way longer than 10 minutes. The next one is walking. So not only are we adding the movement piece here, but walking in general, it can stimulate your senses, especially if you walk without your earbuds in. So as you're walking, you know, have a audio of the wind blowing through the trees, or the dogs barking next door, or the birds singing. And then you have this amazing visual as well. And if you're outside and the sun is out, you have the sun. You have, you know, it's springtime here in Texas, so there's flowers, the trees are budding. I mean, it's really enjoyable to, even just a 10-minute walk can change your whole perspective. And then reading. So reading is the third one. So that can be, reading definitely has to be skewed towards something you enjoy. So it's important not to read the newspaper or maybe something that would actually add stress to your life. So reading something that you love, like maybe spiritual text or a novel, anything like that would help reduce the stress in your life instead of adding. So reading is good. And then stretching. So you don't have to go to a yoga class. You can just do some simple stretches, and it can be whatever you want. I'm a big proponent on getting curious with your body and listening to your body. And your body will tell you what is tight and what needs stretching. So really just kind of pay attention and get curious about that. And then these last three, they are a little more advanced. So this would be things like yoga. And in case anyone doesn't want to spend money on going to a yoga class, there's a great girl who does YouTube videos. Her show is Yoga with Adriene, and I will try to comment that in the comments. But it is by far my most favorite way to do yoga, and it's honestly my only way that I do yoga because I don't spend any extra money, and all her stuff is free. So that's a really good one. And then there's also Qigong and Tai Chi, which are also centralized, more towards the Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, and it's really just movement, and it's gentle movement where you focus on your energy and you kind of move that energy around in your body. So both of those are really great. So now that, those are really the healing meditations that I wanted to talk about this week. And now that last week, since we freed up our schedule by either removing something from our schedule or becoming more efficient with our time, now I think we're ready to add something in. And I would like you all, for the action this week, is to pick one of these healing meditations and try it this week. And as you comment below, I'll ask you to kind of comment in two parts. So the first part is, what healing meditation are you going to try? And the second part is, when are you going to try it? And the reason why I like to pair both of these together is because it's important for you, as you're making a change in your life, to realize, okay, I'm going to make this change, but how is it going to work in my life? So adding those pieces together are really important. And it might seem silly to comment below this video, but it has been proven that the minute that you type this out or write it down or share it with someone else, you have much higher rate of completing that action. And plus, I'll hold you accountable next week. So, furthermore, the only other thing I'd like to say is that if you need further support or accountability, I am launching a group program where it's like 4 people to 1. So I'll coach a group of 4 people. So, and we essentially start with the stress component. And that is launching April 15th. So if you are interested in just getting more information on that, you can go to my website at experiencepaleo.com/thrive. And I'm really excited about it because this is just a way of helping and serving as best that I can. And at least a group of 4, we can get into a lot more detailed, specific plans for each person. So I'll end the show by just reminding you all to please comment below on your action step for this week. And be sure to join next week because we are diving into water. All right, well, thank you all and have a great night. And thank you again for joining me.